Everybody, in this video, we're going to talk real quick. It looks like Thanos and Shuri nerfs incoming. Unplanned video, but there was a tweet, TLSG. I was hopping over to his stream and they were talking about it. I'm like, wanted to put out a YouTube video on this. Glenn Jones, who we talked about in the video earlier, has a tweet here. Thanos and Shuri decks have both been more dominant than we'd like for the past few weeks. The patch we're releasing later this month has significant changes targeting both decks. Doesn't say anything cards, says decks. Thanos and Shuri. It's only an hour out, 33,000 people. I threw a heart on it. Let's see what some of the responses are here. Oh, who's this guy? Thanos decks, it's the stones. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check that video out later. Anyway, so Educated Collins, one of the bigger content creators, very wise, smart, a lot of math stuff that I've seen. He says, I'm assuming it's not in under a week, right? Would say this or next week, right? That would be good to know. So he's just trying to get to know when is this exactly happening, which makes sense. This person's talking about targeting Leech. I could see them making it so the stones start in the deck or tuning specific stones. That was what I talked about. I mean, somebody talked about in that video they didn't self-promote 2 seconds ago. But big bads should feel bad, big and bad. Agreed 100%. So hopefully he's still strong and no longer meta breaking. Ugh is someone who just got the card to play Shuri. This is frustrating. This is the problem with Snap at the moment. I understand needing to maintain balance, but the difficulty in card acquisition combined with balance changes is extremely frustrating. So I want to talk about this for a second because this is the thing that I worry about the most with this game in general is people save for tokens for a long time and they pin things, they get things and they're like, yes, I finally got this card. Woohoo. You know, it took me forever. It took me a month or whatever it took. And then something like this happens. I get it from both perspectives. As a player, I'm obviously more sensitive to the player point of view because it's so hard. From the gaming perspective, I understand where they're going to need some flexibility and be able to fix things. So what's the balance? They don't like to do refunds. They specifically say that. I do wish there'd be some option in the game that if you bought the card, you could maybe send it back for a certain amount of tokens. It'd be great if there was a formula that or an algorithm or something that says, all right, you won this percentage of games using this thing. So we factored this in that it gained you this many things. And so you only get X amount of tokens back if you return the card. That's a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. But I understand this part. Disappointed, this next post here, and I'm not going to read all these. I just want to get some general sentiment here. Disappointing that changes are taking so long on decks that are this destructive to the game's balance. Communication is nice, but these decks being so strong for so long seems to be driving the community mad. My casual friends pretty much stop playing since they can't compete. Again, another point that it is tough to be casual a little bit, but there is a difference between casual and, you know, competitive players. And yeah, that's how it should be. Now, I like this game because I don't feel like you need to wail out to be competitive. That part I think is pretty nice. I really hope a card I paid 6,000 tokens for and another I paid 3,000 tokens for don't become functionally useless. This to me is the biggest thing. It's the one thing I did hard in here. It's a great point. I think it makes sense. I really hope that they really heavily consider this because, man, people will be upset. Someone talking about Leech. I think I've talked enough about Leech recently. I get his point about Leech. I think generally speaking, if you're going to change Leech at all, make it so that it's just a one-turn thing. Much more than that, I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe he's changed something about his power. If it's one turn and you make it a 5/5, similar to Sandman, all right, I think that makes sense. I like that a lot more because that way if you pull it and it's a 5/3 and it only asks for one turn, it doesn't feel like a waste. Appreciate giving us insight to what's going on, but can we please get a single specific place community manager to post these types of things? We shouldn't have to scrub Reddit or Discord screenshots from multiple Twitter accounts to get important updates. All right, I mean, I guess follow along here. Maybe I could help you along. Honestly, Snapzone does a pretty good job at compiling these. I have to admit that. I really like using that website. My favorite is when I save up forever to buy a card in the token shop and you nerf it right afterwards. Again, I get that. Me realizing I still have to deal with the same 2 decks for 3 more weeks. People are frustrated with that. By the way, stream today was using a different deck that was beating, I don't know if I played Thanos, but it was definitely beating Shuri decently. So have some fun with some of those bounce decks. Check out the live stream link in the description below if you want to check those out. I'll probably do a video on it. We'll see. It's nothing groundbreaking, I don't think. But I don't know. It was a new deck for me. I hope you really don't touch Thanos at all. He's already hard enough to use his full potential. Main strength comes from Lockjaw and Leech. Maybe. Shuri doesn't need to be nerfed. I agree with that. I think Shuri's fine. If you are worried about the dominant deck she appears in, I would suggest changing Red Skull and or Taskmaster so that the Shuri Skull Taskmaster plays can be reduced or eliminated. And if any card needs to be tweaked, I'd say it's leeched. Now, again, I don't want to go on leech anymore, but I do think that the concept of the don't touch Shuri, but maybe a skull, a Red Skull or Taskmaster. I think it was on Reddit, where someone changed the card to say for every other card here, this card gets -2. I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I think that if you reduce the power of Red Skull by 2 for every card that's in that same location, and then you Taskmaster, it's not as strong. I think that is something that maybe is interesting to lean into. This one I find hilarious, a meme just where someone pins Shuri and now they're changing the decks and they're screaming. Nerf Shuri right after I bought it. And I stopped worrying about tokens, bro. My money is finite, so when you do this, it's a broken heart. Again, get it. Lockjaw ability change to ongoing. That's an interesting one. If you change Lockjaw to ongoing and maybe you start seeing some counters more that take that Lockjaw away, you know, that I could see being, you know, something good. I sort of like that suggestion. I haven't thought deep into it, but it's interesting. This person talks about the OTA tech, the over-the-air. I talked about this in my video earlier today. Obviously, there's issues in it. They haven't expressed what they are, but things are taking longer. I'm going to be patient with it. I got no problem with it. I just bought Thanos because you buffed him. LOL. We'll see what they adjust. Again, I think they could adjust the stones, and it's still going to be a great deck. Support the balance changes, but we need take this broader, Snap. Card acquisition thresholds combined with balance changes is becoming frustrating. Nerfing cards just after weeks, months of time to acquire it. Is this on your radar to address? Any thoughts right now? Again, I think that's a great point. It's something for the long-term health of the game. I hope they really think about this, because being a part of games where they nerf stuff a lot, it's just never sits well. Please stop messing with cards and just let the game be. I don't agree with that. Instead of weakening cards, present new cards that can deal with the meta. Again, I think that's, I mean, yes, it's ideal, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Really hope that the patch and interaction cycle becomes more rapid. Most games I've seen have 2 to 4 week cycle that alternates between minor and major balance changes. Would love to see a lot more buffs too, as the meta is very stale. All right, I mean, I don't know these side of games, and do they have something like that? Maybe, I'm not really sure. Play the game daily and the meta is a bit tilting. I feel like the game, regardless of the meta, is going to be tilting just because the RNG factor of things and people snapping and emojiing at you sometimes can be a little frustrating. I have Thanos in my shop right now. I'm considering buying him. Now, not so sure. Totally get that. I'd be in the same boat. I've pinned Sarah, and I'm leaving Sarah there until I get those tokens. Decks? Don't you mean cards? Nope. I think he clearly meant decks. I don't know if nerfing the entire deck is a good thing because some cards aren't problematic, and try not to destroy them like you did Leader. The Leader part is a very good, I think, issue to bring up because Leader is dead. So I hope they don't do that to either of these, because then it's going to be like, okay, will we adjust? Yes. But again, I feel really bad for anybody who pinned and or saved tokens for these cards. It feels really bad. I don't think either needs a nerf. They are easy to see coming and can be countered easily. I'd love to know exactly what Limey Giza believes is the easy counter. But let's nerf them into oblivion so they don't get played like Silver Surfer anymore. I mean, it's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. To the people worried about balance changes, this is the way of the current games with RMT systems. The old powerful needs to go so the new powerful can be sold. I get the concept. I don't know Second Dinner well enough, their history long enough, or anybody who works there long enough to know. Now, I know mobile gaming. I know gaming in general. Yes, this is a concept, so I fully understand it. And I'm not going to, say that gaming companies aren't out for profits. Obviously, they're a profit company. They do not donate all their money to charity. Ladder problems. Lockjaw ability adjust just 1 card per turn. Quinjet interaction with the stones. Some stones need to be 2 energy cost. Leech, remove the ability of 1 opponent card in hand. Shuri, Arrow, Red Skull. I still think Arrow needs to be left alone, but I can see everything they're saying there. Please don't nerf them into the ground like Leader. Anyway, I think you guys get the point. I'm going to stop sort of rambling through these. There's a ton of tweets here. It's got a lot of people. When are the nerfs going to end? So a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts. I'm still scrolling. People are going to be upset. Some people are going to be happy. TBD. It's something for us to talk about for the next, I don't know, couple weeks. You know, Ocean spent 2 hours writing this tweet. See, no one cares. Anyway, so that's what we got. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Again, we're trying to grow the channel. I just wanted to throw this video out there, go over some of it. Go check out this tweet. I'll link it in the description below so that you can find it easier. Hammer down like buttons, click notification bells, all that sort of thing. If you want to share your aunts, uncles, nieces, neighbors, nephews about the channel as we grow it. Again, appreciate it. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.